Flosstube. I'm Molly West, the Sensible Stitcher, and I hope you're having a great February. My son received his second vaccination yesterday, so we are absolutely over the moon thrilled. It's been a great week. So anyways, let's dive right into some stitching. I had a new start. Oh, I just realized I didn't unzip all my bags. I'm sorry. So this month I started Harriet Tubman by The Primitive Hare. And are y'all watching the Sunshine Stitchers? Sheila is kind of flying through hers. Let's see. I have the block lettering in. And this is the start of her shoulder and her little, I'm not sure if it's a collar or like a handkerchief, but she's on the go. So that was my new start for Black History Month. Let's see, I worked on, the rest of these are works in progress. I worked a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit on Long Dog Sampler, the new normal. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am stitching Harriet Tubman on mystery fabric. I believe that it's 30 count. It arrived to me mislabeled, and so I don't know what it is, but I know what it's not. It was not a 40 count fabric. So that's it. It's mystery fabric. The new normal Long Dog Sampler is being stitched on a 55 count Creams Weigart, and I have finished rows of the outline, and then I have very, very, very early start on that first left motif. But I'm taking my time with this one because it's on 55 count. It's a little bit harder on my eyes. And so I have, I'm just going to enjoy it on the days when I'm feeling like my vision is extra good. Superpowers. Okay, my next piece that I worked on this month is Alita Palpin by Reflet d'Espoir, and she is being stitched on a 36 count light mocha. So my biggest change was the fabric, but I've also changed all of the threads from DMC to overdyes. And I got a good bit done on this piece. The last time you saw it, I had most of the border that is here was stitched in, but I was missing several of the berries and the leaves. And so I've stitched several of those in. I already had this star and this bird motif, but I filled in this branch that he's sitting on. I started a motif there. I stitched in this flower, and I'm not sure if that's a turkey. I think it's a turkey, and then I started on the altar. So she's moving right along. I'm really happy with the progress there. And she's gonna get a lot of time during March, so I'm excited about that. I set aside several days for her. Normally I give her 2, but I found that if I wanted to finish her by 2021, I might need to. Every few months, I'm gonna have to give her extra days just to stay on path. Okay, the next piece that I am stitching is a Leslie Tier piece, and it is on 28 count bright white Monaco. And when my pieces are finished, I will be tea dyeing them with the DMC in them because DMC is color fast. So I feel completely fine doing that. It is from this older book called Oriental Cross Stitch by Leslie Tier. Leslie Tier has a website, and while she doesn't have these exact same 3 pieces, she has one that is almost like, it's so beautiful, it almost brings together the prettiest aspects of all 3 of these, and it's on her website. This book is out of print, and I did see a copy of this on the secondary market, but the last time I checked, somebody had purchased it. Let's see, this is the one that I've already completed. This is Lovebirds. So I'm just waiting for the set to be complete, and then I'll copy and tea dye them all. And then this is the second one that I am working on, and it is called The Escape. Let's see, let me make sure I'm showing you the front. Here's the front. Yeah, here's the front. My hand is shaking. Too much coffee. So that's pretty, and I would say I'm about halfway finished. However, that said, this piece has, I'm guesstimating 8,000 French knots. So it is going to be a French knot fest over here when I finish all my crosses. The back stitch, I whip through that, no problem. The cross stitching, that's great, especially 2 over 2 with your loop start, no worries. And then those French knots, the whole tree is just cluster upon cluster of French knots, but I bet it will be beautiful. She does not steer me wrong. The next piece that I worked on was Brigid Power, 1840 by GGR. And I had a page finish. I finished the 3rd page, which is sort of up in here. So I've started, let's see, I started top left over here, and I'm working my way across. I have, this will be my March page, but it has less stitching, so I might be able to move ahead to start an additional page on it. But let me show you where I got, and this took more than the 4 days that I had allotted to it. This month was, this particular page was very heavy stitching, which is fine. And I'm sorry about the wrinkles, but I just roll things up and stick it back in. So I would imagine that page 4 will end right over here, and look at all that extra awesome fabric that I'll have left over. So there's these 2 huge green leaves right here. Those were doozies, those were full coverage, and they just took me a while, but she's looking so pretty. I'm so happy with her. I'm so happy with her. And she's getting 4 days again in March. I have found that it takes a minimum of 4 days for me to get a page complete on this. And that's when I have a really good 4 stitching days. But completely worth every single stitch. I still absolutely love it. Okay, the next one I worked on was a super fun Valentine type of stitch, and it is from this book, For My Friend, a Blackbird design book. And let me find, it is called Love One Another, and it's beautiful. And I believe that Lisa, the Kindred Stitcher, is also working on this piece. And mine is being stitched on, I wonder if I put my sticker in here. I think it's on a 36 count antique white. And I am using NPI silk number 503. And this piece has several specialty stitches in it. So the next motif, the motif that I have barely started, is nothing but specialty stitches, and that's true on both sides. So, but it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. Stitching this one makes me feel very happy. Let's see. Oh, the next one. So I worked on, that one had NPI silks, and then this one also has NPI silks. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I rarely stitch with silk. So that kind of turned out interesting because I stitched on these back to back. The next one that I stitched on is Hannah Longstreth, a Queenstown sampler. Isn't that beautiful? And I'll show you where I got on her. This little lady, she gave me some problems, y'all. I didn't put her in timeout, but I was tempted to because she, I got off count. I mean, let's face the facts. It was me that should have gone into timeout, not her. But I had already stitched this motif minus the darker color. So I went back in and stitched in the darker. And then I came across and stitched in this motif. And I just, at the page break, I just got off by 10. And so half of the motif was stitched 10 stitches too high. So I got to rip the entire thing off. And these are big motifs. They're large. So anyways, and then I have a few stitches in on the next one over, and this will be the last one to this side. This is the middle. So I am making progress. When I pull this out, I always have a goal of just getting a motif stitched in and then anchoring the following motif, and then I put that away. And like I said, this is on 36 count antique white, and I'm using all of the called for silks, and they're all MPI was the called for on this. And so that was really fun to work on that one a little bit, minus the frogging. But I have found that if I put it away before I frog it, I cannot remember where my error was. I have to do it right then. Let's see what I stitched on next. Oh my God, no stitches. Oh my gosh. Oh, you're gonna go nuts. You are gonna go nuts. This is just one of my all-time favorite pieces, and I haven't pulled him out in so long. You know him. You love him. He's Hipster Joe. Oh my gosh. He is so fantastic. I also had to frog him while I was frogging him because he comes as a kit. All right, so he's a kit. Let me put the information up here. Because he comes as a kit and I had to frog him, I got a little bit nervous about running out of thread. So I ordered a second kit just to make, they're relatively affordable, and I thought it would just be my luck to run out of the kit thread. It's not DMC, but this is how far I've gotten. Oh my gosh, he has a muzzle and his little mouth. Guys, he is too cool. I'm in love with him. So it was so much fun. He is just the best. Let's see. Magnolia Nana is stitching this one for her husband. I love it. All right, let's see what's next. What is this? Oh, this came up on my Whip Go. The Old West. It has been well over a year since I've put a single stitch into this. This is Little House Needleworks. And I am stitching this on 32 count golden needle by Witchell. And I will tell you, one thing that is nice about Witchell, and I'm stitching it 1/1. One thing that is nice about Witchell is that if you are stitching 1/1, the holes are really, there's a large hole. It's not dense fiber, and so it's really good for 1/1 stitching, in my opinion. And I have added so much. Okay, so I had part of this horse stitched in, so I added this rider, and I made it a cowgirl instead of a cowboy. And then there are 2 cowboys laying up here, and I worked on the stock exchange. This whole thing is being converted to reflect Fort Worth because that's where I live. I live in Fort Worth, Texas. So everything on here will reflect the city that I live in. Instead of the Old West, kind of a generic one, this will reflect our town in particular. So that was really fun and really exciting because I hadn't stitched on it in so long. Put this up. The next one I stitched on. I don't think I did stitch on that this. Oh yeah, I think I did. I think this may have come up. This did. This came up in Whip Go also. This is my Forest of Sumatra, and I stitched on it a bit more. So I think I stitched down in this area. I don't think I put just a ton of stitches in it, but I got some, and this is such a big chart that every little bit helps. That one's being stitched 1/1 on 28 count. Tea and Coffee dyed Monaco. Let's see, I worked on Cooper by Kathy Barrick. What a beauty. Ah, so pretty. I don't have all of my floss for this guy, so I worked on the bits that I did have floss for. So I have the entire branch is now complete. I had only gotten about to here. And so I finished that out. I started adding some letters, and that's it. That's all I got done, but he's a beauty. I can't wait to pull him out again. That was really fun. I think I only worked on him maybe 1 or 2 days this month. Then I worked on Wisdom, and which is a long dog sampler. And I have to tell you something that I realized just yesterday. So I have been working on this since last April, and I will be finishing it this April. And there are 2 motifs right there and right there. And I, this whole time, thought those were monkeys wearing sunglasses. They are not. They are feline royalty. They are little cats with crowns. They are so cute, but I just had no idea what I was in for, and they're precious. They've got some back stitch. My lighting is not great today, guys. I'm sorry. They've got some back stitch, but this is how far I have come. So in March, I think I have like 9 days set aside to work on this one, because I'm finishing it in April, and so I still have a lot left to do. I brought both borders all the way up to the top, minus the flowers on the inside. But now that I have the bones in place, I think that the interior will go pretty quickly, I hope. And then there are several motifs in here. However, that said, the cats with the crowns were the only ones that had any. It's the only back stitch in the entire piece, and I got those done this morning. So she is coming right along, and I love her. And then in April, as soon as I finish this one, I'll be starting her companion piece, Virtue, and I will take them both to get them framed at the same time. Okay, so this is my special piece, and it is the Nordic Heart by Modern Folk Embroidery. I have changed this motif and this motif, the 2 small motifs in the bottom, and I have changed those to the letters V and T for Vivien Thomas. He was, I am stitching this on 32 count Stormy Night, and I am using DMC 926, and Vivien Thomas was a janitor in a heart lab, in a cardiac lab, working for a Dr. Blaylock, and he had a high school education, and he was responsible for the innovations that made open heart surgeries on blue babies possible. He was a Black man. He was not allowed in the surgery rooms. He was later issued a honorary PhD, and he taught open heart surgery at Johns Hopkins for many, many years. The reason this is particularly important to me is that my son Chandler has Tetralogy of Flow, which is the heart condition that causes blue babies. So I am stitching a blue heart on blue fabric. I have changed the initials at the bottom to VT for Vivien Thomas. There is a movie about Vivien's life. I think it was produced by HBO, and it is available on YouTube, and you can go and check it out. The name of the movie is Something the Lord Made. It is, for anybody who's religious, it is not a religious movie, but it's an inspiring movie. For anybody who's not religious, it is an inspiring movie that's not religious. The title comes from the fact that somebody looked at one of Vivien's hearts after he had performed the surgery and commented that it looked like something that the Lord had made because his procedure was so perfect. So Tetralogy of Flow is when there are 4 separate heart conditions that work in unison to cause the blood that's going out to your extremities, including your brain, your entire body, to not get oxygenated. So what happens is when the blood is not oxygenated before it leaves your heart, your body reacts by turning blue. The procedure that Vivien helped to create was able to reroute the piping of the heart so that the blood that is oxygenated through the lungs is able to come back out through the pulmonary artery correctly and turn our extremities pink as they should be. So he is very, very special to all of us, because if you or a loved one has ever had heart surgery, you can thank him for all of the work that he did in the general field of heart surgery. He was profoundly important to any heart surgery that is being performed in the United States today. But specifically, if you know somebody who has Tetralogy of Flow or reversal of the great arteries, then like my son Chandler, then you should be specifically grateful, because he is responsible for curing that. As a Black man in 1944, he came up with a high school education. He came up with the surgical procedures to cure a malformed heart with 4 separate malformations. Unbelievable. My family will forever be thankful. So here is my blue heart on a blue piece of fabric. And I got a lot of stitching in on this one. The outer border is stitch heavy, but it's beautiful and it is lacy. And when this one is done, this will be gifted to my son. And I found the V and the T in the very back page of this book, Ultimate Sampler Motifs Source Book by Brenda Keyes. And I've stitched them over 1. I wanted them to be absolutely beautiful and detailed. And so they are on 32 count over 1 in the exact same color. It will be monochromatic, and that is my super special piece of work for this month. February is Black History Month. February is also Congenital Heart Defect Month. So special, so wonderful. My heart is happy and full. Okay, and then I had a finish. I'm so excited. This one is for my mom. Here it is. And I have been working on this beauty for a while now. And you might remember him if you've been watching. It is Franzi by Reflet de Soie, and I am not stitching the entire thing. I am stitching Franzi's dog. Ah, what a beauty. I will tell you that if you do decide to stitch Franzi, this one is on 40 count Valor. Should you decide to stitch Franzi, I will tell you that there are a couple of charting errors, in my opinion. If you have any questions about which colors, there was a royal blue in the dog that did not belong. And so if you have any questions about what I changed it to, feel free to send me a message. This is Franzi. The initials next to Franzi's dog are initials of my parents' dogs. They have 2 with the initial L, and they've had 2 with a D and a B. And I got these initials from other Reflete Soie charts. This one is from Gilles Leger, and I cannot remember off the top of my head which chart I got the D and the B from. And he is finished, and I love him. I'm so happy, and my mom loves him. I've already texted her a picture, so I'm thrilled. And what a great way to end the month. I just finished this one 2 days ago, so I didn't think I was going to have a February finish. I had him down for 2 days in March. So I'm thrilled to be ahead of schedule. I hope that everyone has a really good March, and I'll see you at the end of the month. And happy stitching. Bye.